What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Stick to the Plan podcast. I'm Kevin. I'm here, as always, with Russ. It is just the boys today, just me and Pops.
Hey, Kevin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing.
Yeah, just the two of us. We tried to do this. I wanted to do a stream, just you and I, last week, but our good friend Lance Lashway interrupted.
Got it.
He interrupted. He's like that. No, I tell Lance and guys like that, they're welcome to jump on anytime. They're always good for conversation. But yeah, since we've been in the new studio and everything, everybody's eager to jump on with us, which is cool. But I thought, me and Kevin haven't done one, just the two of us, in a while. I really don't have. I wrote down some stuff to talk about, but nothing really planned.
Like normal.
We just swing it. Now, if I want to look at myself, it looks like I'm looking off into space. So I guess
we have to adjust.
I guess I won't worry about the monitor and just worry about the camera.
Stop being so vain. And
I know I like my new hair. Getting messed up by the headphones. We got the headphones on today because you know why?
We have video.
Yes, but I wanted to hear the Stick to the Plan
intro. That is a good intro.
The best intro in the business, that is for sure.
Like I said, there's a major podcast on the Gas Digital Network named, now it's the Zach Lewis and Zach show, or Zach and Lewis show. Anyways, that uses that same song for their plugs when they're talking about their upcoming shows.
Oh, well, we got to sue them.
Yeah, they probably have better lawyers than us.
We're going to have to sue them.
Half of it's owned by a Jew.
We probably still sue them.
But the other half is the Puerto Ricans. So
you see, right there, I guess.
Yeah, well, there is a path.
Anyways, we texted this morning. Hey, what time do you want to get to the studio? And we said, let's do 12:30, and we did 12:30. But we were sitting around 45 minutes waiting to start the stream.
Well, you were sitting around
in this new studio, though. My point here is we could really get here at 1:30 for a 2:00 stream.
Yeah,
we'd be a little rushed, but it is a lot nicer.
I had said that actually today. It's nice to sit down and all the audio is already, because that's 99% of the problem. I mean, it's a podcast.
Yeah,
the camera is pointing in the right direction.
You used to haul it in a container on wheels and then quickly set up in the old downstairs studio.
Yeah,
it's nice not to have to mess with that. And I even ate some Mondays mints.
Yeah,
because we had the Jackson GOP headquarters ribbon cutting and open house last Thursday.
Yeah, pretty good event.
It was cool as shit. I really liked it.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
And our treasurer, Karen Wooten, thought she needed to bring some Mondays mints.
Yeah, well.
And I found where she stashed them.
Yeah.
So they're in the podcast studio now.
Yeah, she screwed up.
Yeah, she messed up. They're not cheap.
No.
They're not cheap. But Karen's in Florida.
So she couldn't have them anyway. They'd melt.
You can't have them down there.
No, they'll melt. They don't sell it. They don't even send them.
The only time you get Mondays mints is when you go to Olive Garden.
Yeah, Olive Garden. That's the only one.
Now, some people complain about the Olive Garden. I like the Olive Garden.
It's all right.
You can't go wrong.
Just don't go there expecting true Italian.
No, you can't go wrong. You want stupid spaghetti and all the breadsticks you can eat and some Mondays mints when you leave. It's a great place to be, and the prices there. Me and the wife go every now and then. Yeah, I'm always happy.
Yeah, they fell really hard victims to COVID. After COVID, their quality went down significantly.
I see where Applebee's, like, two people eat for $25. They got some deal with that.
Yeah, and that's expensive for Applebee's, if you ask me. I better get drinks with that.
I've never really had a bad meal at Applebee's either. You get that little sizzler steak that comes on the plate.
That's because you had $14 margaritas.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
So me, when I go to dinner, I don't drink. I drink iced tea.
It's true.
But the Mrs. Ross, she'll have a margarita. So there's $14.
Yeah, but if they're dollar marks, I'll drink 4 or 5 of them. But
I don't want everybody to think that I'm not a drinker.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
The problem is I am a drinker, but 1 or 2 equals 15, 16, or 20.
It's the Jennings curse. It's like the country song. The more I drink, the more I drink, the more I drink. Yeah.
Big time.
You get me started, I'm not stopping.
I'm not a normal person. I can't just go have a beer and go home. I can't do it.
I think there's a term for that. alcoholic.
Now, I'll go weeks without a drink.
Yeah.
But if I'm in, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. I went 2 months without a drink until, last weekend. And I had one. But then, yeah, if I start it, you can't turn that engine off.
I drank a few when I was in Grand Rapids the first night for the MTA training. I first got there. And then I got it in pretty good Monday. Drinking a lot of nice bourbon.
Oh, well, I mean.
And
nice bourbon.
And, Mac, I had Bloody Marys, all kinds of stuff. But, yeah, that's been a couple of weeks. I don't really care to unless there's a reason. But, boy, if there's a reason, I'm all in.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't even need to be a good reason.
Anymore, my older age, it's got to be a decent reason, not just because.
I don't know. If someone puts a good bottle of bourbon in front of me, I don't care.
Kevin,
I need to check that distillery out you talked about.
Yes, I brought home. I got a fifth, and I forget the name of it. It's out of Grand Rapids, and it tastes like Andes Mints.
Oh no!
And it's only $22 a fifth.
Wow!
I don't know if you can order it and have it shipped or not.
I'm sure.
Because I can't wait to break that out. Matter of fact, yesterday was Easter Sunday, and I cooked a ham on the grill.
Right.
By the way, it turned out so good. I'm going to eat cooked ham more often.
Yeah.
And I opened up that cabinet, and I'm like, maybe I should. I didn't have no plans to go anywhere. Why wouldn't I sit down and drink some bourbon?
Exactly.
But I'm not a normal person.
Exactly. You know the bottle's gone.
I wanted to save it. You know what? There's even some Jim Beam up there. I could have drank the Jim Beam. I don't know. I wasn't ready. There wasn't a good enough reason.
I wasn't ready. Yeah, Christ being resurrected wasn't a good enough reason.
I can't get drunk tonight. I got a podcast tomorrow at 2 p.m.
I didn't get drunk last night, but I had a couple of drinks.
Okay.
When I got home, I was stressed out after the tire thing.
Yeah.
I was stressed out. I decided to have a couple of drinks.
Tires get you stressed out?
Well, it
sucks.
Yeah, the tires were the reason, but amongst other things. Yeah.
Potholes suck.
Yeah, that pothole was gnarly too. I didn't see it. I've been really good at avoiding them because that car's so slower.
Yeah.
And
Has that got normal tires on or a kind of low profile?
It's kind of low profile.
Yeah, they're expensive little pricks.
Yeah, I got lucky with what I got today. So $60 for a used tire.
So the problem is that front or back?
Front.
Of course. Front passenger?
Yep.
That's where it always happens. The problem is now you've got off. It doesn't matter. When you get old like me, now I'm all concerned because this tire is different than this tire. I need them. I don't need all four at once, but I need the fronts be matching tread where is the back because it gets me all screwed up.
I think that, and actually I thought about that, but the guy I bought the car from, he said he had just bought tires a month before he sold it. Well, they gave me a used tire, so my tread levels might be pretty similar.
So it depends on what that used tire looks like. It could be.
It looks good.
It could be diminished compared to the tires that you had when you bought it. That's what worries me.
I plan on putting 4 on.
I hate it. I prefer to just go buy tires 4 altogether.
Yeah,
but
it's really not that expensive. If you don't buy like top of the line, I mean, what, $400 or $500?
You know what's the problem with routine tire stores in Jackson, except for Bell Tire, which I've never been.
Me either.
And but we've got a lot of good little shops here in town. I go in there with money over the years. Hell, I've been through the years of whatever tires I can get.
Yeah.
Hey, I want a good tire. Can I buy a BF Goodrich, a Goodyear? They don't have that shit.
No.
It's all cheap tires. Now some might cost more. I haven't had. Can I just get a Goodyear? I'm ready to pay for that.
Well, they're like, you can order them.
There is a Goodyear guy downtown here. I've never been there. Is it Goodyear or BF Goodrich or something?
I think it's Goodyear.
See, I sound like an old dude.
Goodyear makes sense because didn't we used to make Goodyears here?
Yeah, but that was before you were born.
Yeah, I know, but there's still footprints of it.
Anyways, tires are a bitch. You got to have them on your cars.
Yeah.
But Michigan, so this year I've been relatively okay, but last year I took 2 tires out. Potholes, Michigan potholes, Jackson potholes.
Yeah, Jackson potholes are the worst. Battle Creek bit me, but
and one of them bent the shit out of my rim. And
my rim wasn't bent. I asked the guy.
That's amazing.
BMW German engineering.
So that's right. I do have a cheap car with cheap rims. I don't have a BMW.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a Malibu.
It's like the BMWs of the trailer park.
So I don't mind my Malibu.
No, it's nice actually. I like your Malibu.
It's got air conditioning and heat and AM, FM.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But that's another thing about Jackson Tire Stores. I go, hey, so I keep losing air in this bent rim. Can I order a new rim? No, we don't do that. No, we don't. What do you mean you don't do that? You're the tire guy.
You're the tire guy.
In Cooch's.
Yeah, but we're not the rims guy.
But Cooch's, who you gotta love Cooch's.
Yeah.
Cooch's, Regal, Budget. They're all. It's all good.
Budget's gotten pretty corporate lately, but
yeah. But the guy at Cooch's, yeah, we'll just fix it. He goes, and there's some old dude back there banging around on my rim.
Exactly.
I'm like,
they got a rim guy.
I'm thinking to myself, I just really want to buy a new rim for $150 or $200. I don't know. They don't do that. And I leave, and it's not holding air yet.
Oh, of course.
So I go back the next day. I says, listen, I'm really trying to get a new rim. Let's give it another whack.
Yeah. Like it's almost more work for them to order a rim.
They banged. And get this. It's been a few months and it's been solid. Right. And I could tell the difference, too. I had a wobble that I didn't realize I had a wobble because my rim was out of whack.
Yeah. But everything felt normal until everything's fixed. And you're like, oh, wow.
Jackson Roads.
Ooh, Washington.
Commissioner Kennedy, listen closely, okay? My favorite county commissioner. Jackson County roads are way worse than Branch County, Hillsdale County, Calhoun County, Washtenaw County. I don't care. They're surrounding counties.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all shit.
Yeah.
Jackson's worse.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Jackson's worse.
Yeah.
The city of Jackson even worse than that.
Oh, yeah, the cities. And they tried on Michigan Avenue, and they tried to fix it up, but Michigan Avenue is still garbage over there.
Commissioner Kennedy has a good excuse, but it's a frickin' excuse, and I hate excuses.
Yeah.
So
no excuses. Play like a champion.
If you want to compare roads, so I like to compare Hillsdale and Branch because I'm down there more often. Mm-hmm. Well, we got more people and more traffic and the percentage of roads and whatever the hell that is. I don't know. And get this. I get that we're limited in money that comes from the state.
Right.
Okay. That's the problem. That's what needs to be fixed. It really does. The townships, when I campaigned for trustee, I was like, can we fix a road or two once a year with extra money? You know what? I'm not there. I'm not there now that I'm on the board. I'm sorry I can't be there. It falls on the county, and the county says it falls on the state.
Yeah, but the state says it falls on the Fed, and the Fed says it falls on something.
I hate the whole finger-pointing thing.
Yeah, man.
But the state of Michigan right now, Gretchen Whitmer, our great governor.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's got a plan to fix the roads that's going to cost us more money.
Yeah, she's had a plan for 8 years.
Yeah. Remember, she campaigned on fix the damn roads.
Yeah, when she was ugly, Gretchen.
Yeah, now she's all hot and stuff.
Well, I mean,
whatever. She looks like an alien.
She's better looking.
Yeah,
it wasn't hard to do.
No, I guess. Well, it just took a few bucks.
By the way, John's watching. John Smith says, sweet background and Olive Garden is overrated. He likes Applebee's more.
Oh, okay.
Either way. You're from Hillsdale.
John, will you go on a date with me to Applebee's?
Yeah, will you take me to Applebee's and buy me some dollar margs? Get me all loosey-goosey.
Here, it boils down to this. Then the state legislative Republicans have a plan to fix the local roads.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I will give credit where credit's due. The interstates in Michigan are a whole lot better. They're very much traveling. You can travel them without issues.
Yeah.
Whitmer has stuck a ton of money into the interstates. $0 flowing to the local roads. And yes, Jackson, I think, is worse than most, but all of them are worse.
Right.
So the Republicans have a plan to fix them without increasing taxes. The governor has a plan to tax marijuana more to help fix them.
Yeah.
They're looking at toll roads.
I've heard the toll road be thrown around.
And they're also talking about a registration versus miles, where they put a gizmo on your car and track your miles. I don't think they even need to do a gizmo.
I don't think that's.
And then when you pay your registration, you pay a different amount depending on the miles that you drive.
They just changed it not long ago on what your registration was, because now it's the original MSRP of your vehicle.
Okay, but where their problem lies is electric vehicles don't pay when you get gas, you pay the gas tax. So they're getting away with not chipping in on the roads, but their heavy ass cars are helping destroy the roads even more.
Yeah.
So they just want to put a mileage,
that makes sense,
registration mileage fee on every vehicle. And then when you pay your registration, depending on how many miles you drive a year, you pay a certain different amount.
Probably a allotted amount, and then in tiers.
You know where I'm not comfortable? One, additional taxes when there's a plan to do it without raising taxes. If there's a plan to do that, let's do that.
Yeah, plan. Why? Why are we talking about other things?
I don't want no gizmo on my car.
Yeah, I don't like to be tracked like that.
I don't think
we get tracked enough.
You and I just aren't comfortable with anything.
And I don't trust it
anywhere remotely near that.
No, I don't like government surveillance in general, and to me that's government oversight.
I'm just not comfortable.
No, I'm not. Cool
I don't think that's the plan.
It can be used for evil.
It can, Dr. Evil.
Yeah, it's like Teslas can be used for evil.
So your car's got GPS and everything else on it.
I mean, I got a tracker in my pocket.
You just bought a older but nice BMW. You can't steal that car. They can find out where it's at, right?
Yeah. It's got.
That's why I got a Malibu.
You're probably the same thing, though.
I know. You can't get away. Their phones. Hey, I want to tell you something weird that happened to me. So what was it? Over a month ago, I was in Florida. And the person's beautiful home that I was staying in Florida had streaming services for television.
Right.
But they didn't have no Fox News. No Newsmax, no Fox News. Oh, my God. What am I going to do?
I know, dang.
I can live without Fox News, but with nothing. So I'm strolling through, and I find a whole bunch of local Fox affiliates. When I say local, they had Tampa Fox, Houston Fox, Detroit.
I like Fox Houston.
They had all the big cities, Fox networks.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up on the Tampa one. I'm watching it, getting some Tampa news. I was near Tampa. And then I found one called News Now.
News Now, yep.
And it kind of it was a little more conservative. But so for the week and a half, I wasn't there to watch news.
Yeah.
But that was the news I was watching.
Yeah, News Now is not bad. That's like the generic one now, it seems like, with all the Tubies and all those kind of things.
I return home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through my streaming service, and what pops up on recently watched is Fox Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And News Now. Now, News Now, I find out it's something offered.
Yeah.
It tracked me home for the Tampa.
Did you have to sign in for the streaming service?
I don't remember doing that. I wonder if it copied me.
You had to. You had to have, though, if it was on Recently Viewed.
It didn't follow me. I don't know if it was on Recent View now. Oh no, I guess I'm assuming. I don't know. Did it track me through my phone?
Probably.
That's weird.
Yeah, but if it was a targeted ad, definitely. You could have just said the words Tampa and Fox at one point.
I think I might have did to Sarah. Mm-hmm. She got there a few days after I did, and I was bitching because I had to watch Tampa Fox. But tell you the truth, Tampa Fox affiliate is better than Detroit Fox affiliate. Because I was watching Detroit Fox affiliate. The Tampa one was better. Plus, we had some storms coming, and I was kind of keeping an eye on the storms.
Yeah,
because I've never experienced a hurricane, and we were right on the Gulf. I was a little worried about it.
It's not that the wind is blowing.
It's what's blowing.
Yeah, all a hurricane is a super wet tornado.
Now, I will say this.
You'll be all right.
No hurricane. But we did have a pretty good storm brew in.
Yeah.
Boy, storms off the Gulf.
Oh, yeah. Well,
are a little scary.
Warm water. They circulate in the warm water. That's how they become hurricanes.
We talked about storms last week.
Did we?
Jackson storms.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did. Okay. We did. We're born and raised here. Yeah, we get some gnarly storms. Storms rolling in off the Gulf. Yeah. They are different. I'm not saying they're any worse or something, but I didn't know what
I think they are because I've never been... the government has never told me to evacuate.
The wind was blowing.
It's blowing today.
Now,
here,
people who go to Florida often, which I don't, although now that I'm old, I might plan on doing that at least once a year.
Florida,
I don't give a shit I can afford it or not. I'll figure. It's just Florida.
Yeah, it's cool to visit.
You just go.
Yeah,
get away from.
Even if you drive, it costs what?
Right,
$75.
So where we were staying, the hurricane had hit his home and flooded the main floor. He has a 3-story home. And it's designed that the main floor will get flooded. He has a bathroom and a bedroom and a garage there. it's the risk he takes if that gets damaged. Yeah. The main portion of the home is safe up to, I don't know, 12 foot.
Yeah.
You know, how they build them all like that. And but I think it took out his, if you want to call it a dock, he's got a pier. Well, some of them have the big poles that hold them in. This one here and all the new ones down through there on hinges.
Oh.
Like I said, people are in Florida all the time. Like they've been doing that a while.
Yeah.
But as the water levels go up, it goes up with a hinge.
And it goes with the...
instead of just solid in there taking your shit
Somebody
out.
thought about that. Someone made $1 million off some hinges on a dock.
I'll bet you it's $30K or more.
I'm sure. And I'm sure it's probably way far out, too.
No. So it's not a long dock. It would be like more a... what would you call that when you... On the edge of the water, 12 by 15.
Okay. Like a paddock, that's not the word, but I know you're saying.
I'm missing what that would be called.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a deck off at the water, but it's on hinges. So I thought that was cool. And whoever invented that, and whatever companies are out there running around and installing them, are laughing all the way to the bank. Mm-hmm. Another thing I noticed in northern Tampa area, everybody's a roofer.
Oh yeah, they're all tradesmen in some way because.
That's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them they move down there for a second to fix the hurricane, and then they're like, I think we should stay here.
Yeah, everybody's
year-round work.
Everybody's a roofer and a gutter guy.
Yeah, year-round work.
Everybody's got sweet trucks driving around. Yeah. JoJo's roofing.
It's not February in Michigan on a roof?
And they all seem busy. The contractors have been busy down there.
No income tax.
20 years ago, I worked for a burglar alarm company, and we lost 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know, installers. Mm-hmm. They ran cable wire to Dish Network. A hurricane hit Louisiana, whatever that big one was.
Katrina?
Katrina.
That's kind of a big one.
And Dish Network was like, hey, we're paying subcontractors to get down here and put new dishes up, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure back then it just whipped.
Oh, yeah. Well, we messed some of those installers.
It was what was blowing in the wind.
Yeah, but it was.
And they went down there and never returned.
Yeah, why would you?
I think they're still down there.
They might still be working on Katrina damage. That was a mess.
Well, one thing leads to another, I guess, right? It's just one job. Yeah, they're like, no, we're not going back to Michigan to do that, whatever we were doing.
Yeah, Katrina was a mess, and it was a big one, but, I mean, they have hurricanes every year. So
Right.
You chip away at the block. You're a little weaker now.
It was interesting. But, yeah, I'll in my being old and retired, I'll be returning to Florida, hopefully maybe for at least a month. I'm going to try to afford that. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I can't afford 2 places. Like a lot of people retired, they got their Michigan place and their Florida mobile home or something. I don't think that's in the cards. But, rent something for a month, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Airbnb style.
Now, I'm not a super fan of the cities in Florida. Too much traffic, a lot of homeless people, and hokies. Florida's this. Either it's a gob of old people.
Yep.
And real rednecks.
Yeah.
Because Florida natives are.
Everyone I know that lives in Florida or is from Florida, they'll say if you want to know if it's a Florida native, check how many teeth they have.
Very true. Very true.
It's a methy state.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Now everybody is friendly.
It is almost Southern hospitality, but not.
Yeah.
Without the drawl.
In as prosperous as Florida is, I did see a lot of homeless living in the bus.
Nice weather.
Now I always wondered that, Kevin. The homeless in Michigan. Hello, it's middle of winter. Wherever you see them.
Yeah.
Okay. What you do if you're homeless? You start walking now.
Yeah.
Start heading south, so when winter comes, you're there.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you'll find somebody along the way to give you a ride and a couple miles.
Yeah. So hang out here till the 1st of August and start traveling south. Why would you want to be homeless in frickin' Michigan, living outside?
I'm curious. Because I know Google Maps can do it. I'm going to see how long it would say to take to walk.
Like you said, you get a ride somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming. Or, dude, you could probably get a bus down there for a couple $100.
As a kid, you used to just hop a train and.
Yeah, now that's a federal crime.
They called them hobos.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, are you Googling homeless?
No, I'm going to see how long it would take to walk to Florida.
Oh.
Let's say walk to.
You might want to start now.
Tampa. Because I know Google Maps gives you an option for walking.
I don't know. Maybe Rick will let me stay at his place again next year.
I'm sure he will.
But there's a possibility. He's like, no, he ain't coming back.
411 hours.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
So.
Oh, a couple months, right?
Let's see. Yeah.
See, now you got to do a whole lot of math. How many hours?
Yeah, 411. Well, I'm just going to go 411 divided by 24. I'll tell you how many days.
Yeah.
411 divided by 24 equals 17 and 1/8 day.
All right.
But that's nonstop walking.
Oh, yeah, you got to sleep. So yes.
A month, 2 months. 2 months is probably
If I was homeless, I prefer to sleep in the bus stop in Florida in the winter than Michigan. Why are you sleeping in the Michigan bus stop?
Mostly because when they kick you out of the bus stop in the winter in Michigan.
No, I'm talking where the glass boxes on the curb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They snuggle up in.
Yeah.
Not the nice bus.
Oh, yeah.
Not the transfer station.
Well, when they kick you out of any of it, at least you're not out in the elements. A little bit of rain.
So that probably goes to a little bit of mental illness.
I think it has a lot to do with it.
Are you sticking around because of family?
I think a lot of times that's what it is, but
it is. You're homeless.
I think actually I have a theory about that. Another streamer brought it up that. Do you know how many mistakes in bridges you have to burn to be completely homeless?
Yeah, I know.
When you don't even have a friend to crash on the couch for the night. That's a lot of. You're burning a lot of bridges.
So you're right and you're wrong. I think most people are in that situation. But then you hear those rare situations where you're just caught in a bad situation. But
why were you caught? The decisions that were made? There's so many decisions that were made and bridges that were burned to get to that point.
So let's say you're a single mom, you got a couple kids, and you're renting and you're getting along okay. Mm-hmm. Landlord sells the house, you got to leave. They're going to tell you got 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I don't know. And you start looking. It is tough to find housing. But I think a lot of times it's because you drug your feet.
Yeah, I think that's you that or you're waiting on government aid a lot of times. And I mean, hell technically, 18 months I was technically homeless, but I figured it out.
Yeah,
I was working too. I think obviously you have to work.
Yeah, I think there's just some scenarios that you got to feel sorry for people. Now, that being said,
very very rarely,
it's not just in Jackson. Everywhere, this whole housing shortage crisis. They are building apartment complexes frickin' everywhere, whether it's income-based or market rate or whatever. There's a lot of opportunities out there. But, my wife who works in affordable housing,
right?
If you ever been evicted from affordable housing, you can never, ever again rent in affordable housing.
If you've ever been evicted, period, in the state of Michigan, most places won't let you rent.
If it's on the books.
Yeah.
So if Russ and Kevin just went and threw your shit out on the road, it's not on the books. We don't have to talk about that again.
He wasn't a tenant, damn it.
But yeah. So that's the bridge that you burnt when you and your man didn't, or whatever your scenario, didn't pay the rent at the public housing place, and you got evicted, and now you wonder why you can't find public housing, because 80% of everything out there is public housing.
Yeah.
So you've just cut off, not 80, but you've cut off 40% of your opportunity right then and there.
Yeah. Well, again, you don't have a friend or a relative or anybody.
Yeah.
That if you're working,
I guess I can stay at grandma's.
Yeah, and if you have to lay your head down for a night,
maybe in the summer I just stay under the bus stop.
Just float around on the pontoon.
It's all right. Hey, so Dave's Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Dave Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dave Johnson, the former owner of McThirsty's Pub, who we bought McThirsty's Pub off from.
Yes.
He retired to Florida, but his scenario is he owns, a very nice fifth wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And he moves it around campground to campground every year. He might spend a couple of seasons. Now, he owns a home in Michigan on Pleasant Lake. But in the winter, he gets the hell out of here. And he'll find a campground that he likes, and he might stay there a couple of seasons. But for the most part, he just moves it to another campground. And I'm like, that's not a bad version.
I've thought about it.
Because it's not the regular camping fees. Like for the weekend, you get a discounted price because I'm going to spend the whole season. And so you got what, an $80,000 fifth wheel and maybe $5K. I don't know.
I'm not sure what the pricing
stay
is.
At a place that's real close to a bar and a swimming pool and old people. Yeah. And I don't know. That's not a bad gig. I thought about what if a person did that for you. I wouldn't want to die in that scenario where you did that in the winter in Florida, in the summer in Michigan. You didn't have a home. You stayed in your nice fifth wheel at the campground of your choosing.
There's a guy that watches my morning show, Roy Rat. He lives in an RV. Similar idea. I mean, he's got some property and stuff as well, but he's like, if I want to get up and move, I just get up and move. I think, but he's also a single guy. There's certain things that have to be in place.
So when you're old, though, like
I mean, Roy Rat's
me and Sarah. It's just me and Sarah.
Roy Rat's, I mean, a little younger than you, but he's the older guy.
But if it was just you and your wife, it wouldn't be that bad.
And Sarah's this big, so
right. It's not like she's not even there.
Yeah, you put her in the stowaway.
You'll hear her before you see her.
Definitely. Mostly from her shoes.
True. Interesting scenario. I am sick of Michigan winters. I have had the consideration in the past, since this is a horrible political state to live in, although it's changing. I have thought, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to a red state.
I thought about Tennessee.
Get this. Arkansas. With the Huckabee. Huckabee Sanders.
The corporate headquarters of Walmart.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It's in Arkansas.
But
it doesn't matter.
I checked the climate of southern Arkansas. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it's like a Tennessee-ish. Ish. It's better than Michigan.
Tennessee has whiskey.
I hate cold weather anymore. I never used to bother it. And plus, the politics in Michigan, boy, it has gotten better.
It's bad because other fans from in my other show, especially from other states, California and Arizona, a ton of other states, all make fun of Michigan's politics.
Of course they do.
Why wouldn't they?
It's easy pickings.
But the one from California.
See, I wasn't watching myself on the monitor, Kevin, and I was almost moving myself right off the edge.
Yeah, well, I was letting you go.
The picture here is the Michigan State Capitol. Beautiful. Now, most state capitals are beautiful and look a lot like that. We're not exclusive to a beautiful state capital.
No.
But that also isn't pulled off the internet. I took that picture from the second floor of the building across the street. I came out of the restroom. By the way, the restrooms on the Michigan State Capitol are top-notch.
Oh, yes.
Top-notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our elected representatives poop very well.
You can take care of your business real well. But I came out.
They're plentiful, too. There's a lot of them.
And their soap smells like flowers.
Yeah.
And I come out.
That's where our tax dollars are
smelling
going.
my hands. And I looked out the window and seen this and took the picture.
Yeah, it's a good picture.
And it was in the fall. So it looks like it was in the fall. And I don't want everybody to think that I hang out at the state capitol very much, because I don't. Because I really don't like it there. But I do get up there 4 or 5 times a year, and that was one of those opportunities.
I've been a couple of times just for like school and stuff. Here's a picture without us on
me
it.
in it.
Yeah, without us on it.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, I've been up there quite a few this last year.
Yeah, there were some cars that were kind of ugly down here that I cut out off the bottom, but other than that.
Yeah, I don't like going up there and parking and all that. Actually, when I'm there, I usually run into somebody I know, and it's kind of fun. And, maybe Senator Lindsay will buy you lunch.
And there's some pretty sweet bars up there, actually.
There is.
I've had some great times in a random bar in Lansing.
There is. I don't mind. I don't like Lansing as a city for the most part. Matter of fact, my friend Amber Harris put on Facebook yesterday, what's your worst Michigan city that you dislike the most? And most people said Ann Arbor. You know what? I know Ann Arbor's a liberal, horrible town when it comes to that, but I like downtown Ann Arbor better than I like downtown Lansing.
Yeah,
Flint's pretty bad. I don't know a whole lot about Flint, though.
It's, unless you're going to the machine shop, you got to stay on that side of the bridge.
Other than the Lansing Center, where I've been to several state conventions.
East Lansing is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like East Lansing.
Kind of cool. MSU campus is beautiful.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah. But Lansing's armpit to me. Now, we live in Armpit. Jackson is not that nice of a city.
No. Grand Rapids was another one that would rank up there if it wasn't so nice now.
So let's talk about Grand Rapids since I spent a few days up there. And I've been to Grand Rapids before, but I hadn't spent a few days there in one of Michigan's most beautiful hotels, I got to say, on the Township Dime.
Hey.
They could have put me in a budgetel. But I'm looking out the window of 14th floor of the Amway Grand, and I'm looking at the river and, everything, Grand Rapids, and it's hustle and bustle. It's a cool town.
Yeah.
And I see Betsy DeVos Children's Hospital. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you got the DeVosses, the Van Andels, the Myerses. There's a lot of billionaires.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I don't think it was on the air, though.
That's the problem with Jackson. We have no billionaires.
None.
I think there's like 5 in Grand Rapids. And their contribution, although it benefits them in the long run, it feeds itself and creates opportunities for others where Jackson's kind of limited in that.
Yeah, well, and I think I said it, that, billionaires, it's the city they live in. They want the city to be nicer. They want some things to do. I'm sure they're at one point, probably not actual billionaires, but equivalent to billionaires. Jackson's had them.
So I don't know about that. You take the Glicks, for example. They're very wealthy, and old man Glick, who passed away, I know, a year or two ago, he contributed a lot of money, owns the field house, the practice field house on U of M. But I don't know if he's a billionaire or not. Listen, if you're worth $800 and $900 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But billionaires is...
Well, I'm just wondering because Grand Rapids, probably the reason that it's sprouted so much is because of the lake, and the transit you can do through the lake.
I know, but it's still quite a ways from the lake.
Jackson used to be a kind of a hub too.
I know,
with good gear and everything. But I don't know. Whatever equivalent to billionaires would have been in the early 1900s.
I think there is money in Jackson. We do have a lot of industry.
A lot of old money, though.
But okay,
and old money runs out.
I know of a, and I won't say who it is. I do know of a businessman in Jackson that just sold his company and retired. And the rumor is that he cashed out for $30 million. Okay. Kevin, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Dropping a bucket for $1 billion, though.
Guess what? That ain't shit compared to $1 billion. It's a whole different game.
Yeah, like we've talked about before, the Shark Tank idea where there's Mark Cuban worth $3 billion,
right.
And then there's the QVC lady that's worth $500 million. $500 million is a stupid amount of money.
Right.
Mark Cuban is worth significant, 3 times, 6 times more than her?
Or Trump's $3 billion or $5 billion, whatever it is, compared to Elon Musk's
$980 billion,
whatever it is.
Yeah, like Elon Musk. Why does Elon Musk even hang out with Donald Trump? Technically, Donald Trump is a poor guy compared to Elon Musk
because he does have Mar-a-Lago, and Elon sleeps in a closet.
Yeah, I'm sure, or a coffin. He might be a coffin,
or one of his baby mamas.
He's got 12. Do you know he has 12 kids?
He got a lot of kids,
and one's a trans.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he doesn't claim that one.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah. Could you imagine just running around just like, I'll just have babies. I can pay the child support. His child support is only $1,200 a month, by the way.
Huh. Wow.
Which?
No, he probably takes care of his kids.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Keep baby mama quiet.
Yeah, he's just trying to, build superhumans,
I got some stuff written down. I don't know.
Go ahead.
We're in the weeds. So that's why podcasters are always messing with these things, because I see they unloosen a little bit.
Once you mess with them one time, then it'll continually.
Joe Rogan picks on it like it's his nose or something.
Yeah, but he's, he only eats meat, and he just got out of his zero gravity chamber. And who knows? He's thinking about shooting an elk. You notice I haven't played with mine once because I haven't played with it.
Oh, yeah. See, people have been picking at it.
Mm-hmm.
John Wilson was picking at it.
Probably. Or one of the Johns. John Smith.
A lot of Johns around here.
Too many Johns.
They're
all characters.
All right, so what do I got now? It's all a mess on this sheet. The Fauci ouchie guy. So the Fauci, I'm hearing or seeing on the X that some state some Congress people have asked for them to investigate the Fauci ouchie on his pandemic claims. And then I also seen, and when I say access, because you better double check, that Fauci is asking to leave because he's going to go work for the Wuhan virology place.
He already works for him.
Well, no, directly. He wants out. He wants to leave because he's afraid those pardons that the Biden gave are no good because of the auto pen.
Well, I know that they pulled his Secret Service detail.
Yeah, I know. They should have done that day one.
I think that's hilarious.
I think it's great.
And Trump's like, was something bad going to happen to him? I mean,
why would there?
Yeah, no, he's just a doctor.
He can afford his own security. That's true.
Yeah.
Last year's retirement with the federal government was over $3 million, so he could peel off $1 million of that, pay for security. But anyways, I think they're going to maybe go after the Fauci, and they need to, man. I'd like to see some heads roll.
No, definitely. He's one that needs to.
Yeah.
Why are you blowing me up?
People calling?
Yeah. Hold on. I got to make sure something's not
Hello?
on fire. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm live with Distinctive Plan. What's up?
Oh, okay.
What's this?
I could get a phone call, too.
Yeah, you should. Hey,
Are we done?
I'm live on the air. What's going on? Hello?
Maybe we should have put up a commercial.
That was fucking...
Okay.
Anyways, back to what we were doing. I'm looking up the COVID thing right now. All I see is Trump turns COVID information site into a promotion page. Pushing preferred narrative. Wow. Okay. Continue. I'll.
So and then the Adam Schiff. I read an article yesterday about the Adam Schiff that he owns a massive home and property in Maryland and pretty much stays there. But, he's a representative out of California. And he rents a, 1,000 square foot apartment or condo in California. So he doesn't even really live there. I mean, how do these people keep electing people that don't even live where they represent is amazing to me. But they're mad at the Adam Schiff, too. I think there could be some heads rolling on the Adam Schiff. According to Post in the X, and why I say that, I like X a lot. Problem with X, it is Wild West.
It is.
And just because you read it, you better double check.
Well, you should with any.
You should.
Unfortunately, you do that with any media.
You do.
Social media or traditional media or podcast media. I don't care. Always check your sources.
I know people that we watched this podcaster and he's got 80,000 viewers and he said this, so it must be true. No, it don't mean shit.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, Russ and Kevin could say something today. Buy some viewers, throw it up there. They'll take your money.
Oh yeah, no.
Show 70,000.
We get offers every show.
Russ and Kevin said this. It must be true, and it's not because we don't know what we're talking about.
No, we're just pissing in the wind.
Yeah. I'm just talking about things I read on the X. Now I'm still on Facebook, and I do like the Facebook platform better. I know it's Facebook, but when I say the platform, it's easier to communicate and go through. It's set up easier, maybe because I'm so used to it. But I've been on X for 6-8 months.
X is very,
it's not interactive as much. Yeah, it's weird.
It's very rudimentary. It's actually way simpler than Facebook, but we're so used to the platform of Facebook.
Yeah, maybe
that Twitter's almost too easy, and it's hard to make connections. Facebook,
true. It takes
always offering, hey, you should follow this person.
It does. People you should know.
Yeah. You don't get you get that with X, but not as much.
I probably went 2-3 years without accepting a friend's request because of the worrisome portion of being hacked. Then I realized, if they hack you on Facebook, who gives a shit?
Yeah, everybody gets hacked. And the thing is the only way that you get hacked on Facebook is when you fuck. Because you have to click on it, then it says, "Oh, you have to log back into Facebook." So you log back into Facebook, and then now they got your shit.
But what are they gaining? They don't have my social security number. They don't have anything that really matters.
They're hoping that they're going to get the next person and the next, bigger.
Your friends list.
Yeah,
that might have.
They're advertising. It's you're worth X amount in advertising.
I don't worry about the hack no more. I notice most people don't. Every now and then you get somebody, hey, I've been hacked. Don't take any friends requests. You know what my comment is when someone says that? Don't take. Listen, I'm already friends with you once. I don't want to do it again. Believe me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too is that the term hacked is what everybody uses, but it's not even hacked. You gave them your information. They didn't hack shit. And then what they do is
you hacked your friend.
There's actually a term for it, and I can't think of what it is, but basically they duplicate you. Yeah. They just take over your.
I've heard the horror stories of somebody sending out a Facebook post under your name and profile that says, "I hump donkeys every day," and
I send that. I literally send that or that kind of status out every time someone leaves their phone unlocked near me.
Okay.
So just so you know, that's not hacked. You left your phone unlocked. That's your fault.
I have been accepting more friends requests lately if they're politically oriented, especially in Michigan. If it says more than 30 people that are mutual friends, I'll look. Oh, I've heard of that person. So lately, I've been accepting more friends requests. I had to go through a whole lot of them, but everybody else, no, I'm not just speaking. Like
I accept everybody because unless you give them your password, I mean they're not gonna.
So just don't give them your password. Huh?
Yeah, when it says when you click on a page and it goes, oh, you need to log in for that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. How often do you have to log into your Facebook?
So fraudulent activity is big time with seniors.
Oh, yeah.
And you read it all the time on them like, hey, don't do this. The cops aren't calling asking this. But, Sarah deals with it all the time with her residents.
Grandma deals with it constantly.
And where people fall for the trap, one lady twice in the last year, out of loneliness, oh, yeah, sure, I'll withdraw this and send you a gift card. And you're like, how do you fall for this over and over and over?
There's a generation of people who are just overly trusting of anything they read. Because there was a time where we could rely on media for our hard news, like factual news.
I think when you get seniors, sometimes they're lonely or missing something in their life, though. So, but like Sarah, where she's at, some of them people don't see their family as much as they should.
Yeah, I think
like
that's.
I don't know.
I watched a body cam on a friend of mine's show, and it was a older lady, probably 70s, upper 70s, early 80s, at one of the Bitcoin machine, ATM, having issues, and she had asked somebody else to help her, and the somebody else, whoever it was, thought it was kind of suspicious and told her to hold on. Just then, the sheriff of that town was walking in, and she was on the phone with him, and he's like, oh no, she is not gonna. All she had to do was press accept, and he's like, he's not gonna press that. He's like, no, let me talk to the customer. Let me talk. He's like, no, banks don't do this. You can go ahead and call my dispatch if you want.
Don't just.
And he's like, I guess we'll have to put a warrant out for your arrest. He's like, okay,
giddy up.
Yeah, it was like $70,000 too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, send it in Bitcoin.
So the recent one where Sarah works, the lady couldn't pay her rent because of it, but they figured it out. Somebody helped her out, and I guess she's got a family member stepping in. It is sad. But I guess it can happen.
As long as you don't put your password out there.
Speaking of sheriffs, our sheriff stepped up to the plate and went into a deal with Department of Homeland Security and ICE, and is the first sheriff in the state to sign the 287G.
I think it might be in the country.
No.
Is not?
It was in the state. But you can
okay, I can't remember.
But anyways, this has been a couple of weeks, and what it is people need to calm down a little bit. So I went to a county commission meeting Tuesday, not expecting for crazy people to be there up in arms over the sheriff doing this. But they were. It was interesting to watch, kind of entertaining. But time it was said and done, I was ready to get out of there. Yeah. Bunch of people with their mask on and crying. We're going to be mean to illegals. But what it boils down to, so if you break the law and the sheriff catches you, or any agency in Jackson County, and you end up in the Jackson County Jail, and it comes back that there's a detainer warrant because you're an illegal immigrant. It used to be if you got bonded out, the sheriff would just let you go.
Yep.
But now he can hold them up to 72 hours until ICE comes and picks them up on the ICE warrant. Now, the crazy people who are there thinks that the sheriff's going to be kicking in doors looking for illegals. That's not the case. He doesn't even have time for that.
No. Yeah.
But it occurs to me, shouldn't that be what all sheriffs just do automatically?
Yeah,
it's a freaking warrant.
Yeah. Regardless, like I mean, like I think I said last week, if you have this warrant you obviously already broke the law. You're illegal. But if you got picked up, that means you broke the law again.
Again?
So you are a criminal.
You're habitual at this point.
Now, do you know something I thought of regarding this? I was watching Scarface the other day.
Sweet show.
It just happened to pop on. I get Peacock for free.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of it, it talks about in the 80s, Fidel Castro sending 125 Cuban refugees on boats, and like 25,000 of them were criminals. Like,
of course.
The dredge.
Why would you keep the good ones?
Exactly. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on now.
Yeah, Trump's been saying that.
Yeah.
They've emptied out their insane asylums and prisons and sent them here. And Trump ain't messing around. He's sending them back, man. But good for the sheriff. We love Gary.
I like Sheriff Schutte. He's a good one.
I always he is a true protector of our community.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want anybody else. Sometimes, I go down the rabbit hole of the true constitutional sheriff, and I get that.
I think that actually, Schutte is pretty much a true constitutional sheriff.
I think when push comes to shove, he's there for us. Yeah. He's not out front with it.
I think even Grady is sometimes a little overkill.
Yeah.
If that's kind of the poster child for true constitutional sheriffs.
Yeah. So, anyways, good job.
Still can't have weed down there, though.
I know. Gary Schutte on stepping up. Now, I talked to the sheriff a month before that. There's a bit of a money grab here.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so...
well, he needs money. The sheriff's department is hurting.
He's basically all right. There's still cops on the road, and there's still a jail.
Yeah, I've seen him pulling people over constantly, so sheriff's been busy lately.
Disappointing. Oh, I'll tell you. He explained that to me one time. Mm-hmm. So the federal government gives the counties money for traffic management.
Right.
And so you got TM units, they call it, traffic management units, that don't answer complaints. Their job is to pull you over. Mm-hmm. They cannot patrol the interstates. They patrol all side roads and anything with an M50, M60, all that, not the interstates. And their job is to pull people over.
Traffic management.
Mm-hmm. It's a federal funded thing. So when he puts in the numbers of what cops we have, it's kind of not counted.
His budget, yeah.
But
it's a different budget.
Something that I always look at, though, with a traffic management cop on the road, if something significant happened, that cop's going to respond.
Oh, absolutely. If someone's bleeding out in the gas station 2 blocks away, they're going to respond.
Or a school shooting or whatever. Yeah. I think about that where I live. We have marijuana enforcement officers because we have so many marijuana facilities, and there's 2 of them, and that's all they do. Mm. They patrol and police and check up on marijuana. They don't answer complaints. They don't pull people over. But let me tell you, if something significant happened, that's 2 more officers on the road that will respond.
Yeah, they are officers.
And they have guns. Pew, pew,
yeah.
pew, pew. Pew, pew. In training.
It's like school liaison officers.
That's right.
The same thing. It's like, he's just at the school, but he's still a sheriff deputy.
That's right. And if there's something happening somewhere, you're going to have them. It's just addition. Now, the problem is none of these cops work at night. Maybe traffic management units do, though.
I've never seen them late, but when I lived over on Ann Arbor Road, the evening, like on my way to work, 8:30, 9 o'clock. It would. They were busy.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. I did see. What did I notice? The sheriff did tell me that on the nights where he's low staffed, he can always keep 1 unit on overnight. Most of the time, a couple. Mm-hmm. But when he is short staffed, he communicates with the state police headquarters in Lansing or whatever. And they provide additional road coverage.
Which they should.
When we're short. So they're communicating with one another in a month in advance. So on these dates here, I'm going to be short deputy for routine patrols. And so the state police is even paying overtime.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be a trooper out of the Jackson Post. You can be anywhere. Yeah, I'll go down there and hang out. You know they're lames and they just sit around.
Yeah.
But so far... we got cops.
Yeah, I see no shortage in officers locally.
No,
I drive.
Well, you live in the city, and the city's got plenty of cops. I live in Black Mill, Leone. We got plenty of cops.
Yeah, because when I was living on Ann Arbor Road, I basically traveled through the city, through Blackman, hell, damn near, I mean, sheriff, everything.
All cops love Ann Arbor Road.
Oh, I don't blame them.
It's
especially that little area I was in.
Easy. Oh yeah, down there.
Easy pickings.
Weed stores.
Yes.
A hokey hotel.
Speedway's right there. The highway's right there.
The speed limit changes from 35 to 45 to 50. You don't know what the hell you're doing. And it's easy. If you're a cop, that's easy pickings down there. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but now I was thinking about it. It was only ever late at night. Was only ever Blackman in that area. I don't remember ever seeing a sheriff.
Yeah, and that's their area, so.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And again, if you're a Blackman cop, why wouldn't you hang out there? Or at the other, or you hang out on the north side?
There's not a lot of bars down through there. You do got the Enchanted Forest or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, they like to sit right there at that
bowling alley. And then you got the Hokies coming out of town that had been drinking, heading home.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of neighborhoods and things like that.
Michigan Center, Page Ave used to be a gauntlet. It isn't as bad anymore because there ain't as many bars, although there's still 3 busy ones in one little stretch right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, because there are a lot of bars on Michigan Avenue.
They don't really hang out across from bars like they used to.
No, or like at bars and
drunk driving, they get more. When I read the reports, there's more in the middle of the day than there ever is at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
a lot of drunk moms.
Oh, yeah. Wine moms.
That's right.
Wine moms.
Have a few, go pick up the kids. Now, all of a sudden, not only you got a drunk driving charge, now you got an endangerment to your children charge. Oh, my God.
You got a
horrible.
CPS case.
Oh, my God. Yeah, CPS. Oh, they're the worst.
Oh, my God.
CPS.
No.
Once they're in, they're never out.
Yeah, I got involved with a friend of mine's case because I was watching their kids while, there's an hour, the dad would come home or would leave for work and the mom wouldn't be home from work. Never even saw the kids. We'd just sit in the living room and watch TV until whatever. Well, it turns out the dad was beating the kid.
Oh, yeah.
The little one. And
so he didn't like that one?
Yeah, apparently not. He had 32 microfractures on his ribs. And
that's
of course, I got dragged into it because of it. And then the dad pointed the finger at me. And I was like,
whoa,
buddy.
That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. And but they've ever since then,
they're in your life forever.
Yeah, forever. And I had to tell one that if you had any more questions, she'd better bring a deputy back. Because she was out of pocket.
That's out of control. It's
they think they're cops and they're really
so. I hate to say it. I had an at-home conversation with Sarah, and I think for CPS to be involved in your family's life, things have to be over the top severe,
and they don't have to anymore.
And they don't.
There's too much power in that department. And they act like they're police officers.
They do.
And they're not. I remind them regularly that you are an overpaid secretary. Go find a deputy.
So also, too, I've heard CPS on, they're indoctrinating their children because they believe in this. That's their business. It don't matter what side. I mean, so if that family worships the devil and they're teaching their children how to worship the devil, that's sad, but that's their problem. Same thing on the flip side over here, over religious.
Yeah, well, and the CPS saying that, hey, we can't tell them this, that they need to do this. That's indoctrinating them.
That's right.
I mean, it's the same thing.
That's right. I don't know. It's sad.
Any 3-letter agency to me. Doesn't need to be gone.
I haven't seen one very good
but
yet.
But they all need to. We need to start all over. Just wipe it clean. Start all over. Start all over.
Yeah, that's maybe a different show.
Yeah, that's a whole. I could go on for hours on that. I've done that show.
I want to go back to Michigan roads.
Yes.
It was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. In State Rep Kathy Schmaltz has championed this whole Michigan roads thing. I think he's one of the co-signers, of course. And I was like, Kathy, you need to come on the show. She spun me kind of super busy. It was legitimate, but we need to get Kathy on here.
Yeah, I like Kathy anyway.
Have a show with Kathy. And I just want to talk about legislative updates. What's happening in Lansing?
We interviewed Kathy at the fairgrounds anyway.
No, we didn't do Kathy at the fair, but we had her afterwards during the campaign.
No, okay. I thought I remembered.
We had her in the Trump room here in the Trump suite.
Oh, it was Dr. Sherry we had at the fairgrounds.
Yep, we had Doc Sherry, we had Kelsey Guernsey.
Yep, and
both
Shooty,
sheriff candidates.
The other guy.
Oh yeah. Who was the other guy?
I don't know.
See, when you lose an election, you forget who that person is.
Yeah, he's still around. He was going to move away.
Actually, I kind of like the guy. I mean, he's all right.
And he's just a little bit of a wackadoo. I'll say it. I mean, he couldn't answer my question. I was like, so what are you going to do for law enforcement?
No, not the sheriff candidate.
Yeah, what's his name?
Not that whack job. No, the guy for prosecutor.
I liked him. No. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
He looked more prosecutory.
He did. Kelsey's doing a great job.
Yeah, I talked to her a little bit at the open house.
Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah. I like her. She does have a female touch, and so maybe some of that could be. She doesn't favor criminals, but she really does want to.
She does want to help.
She want to help.
Yeah.
Just figure out why you're a criminal, and just lock them up and throw away the key isn't working. Mm-hmm. We've been part of that system for a long time, and I don't know if she's going to figure out. By the way, this Wednesday is the crime summit at the fairgrounds. This year, it's like a 9-hour thing. I got it on my calendar. They do feed you a continental breakfast and a free lunch. Maybe I'll go for that.
Wow.
But this year is on domestic violence and what these people who are smart and in law enforcement can do to help domestic violence. I don't know. They've had these 3-4 years in a row. Is violent crime any better in Jackson County? I don't think it is.
I mean,
they claim it is.
We asked the sheriff that, and I mean, he provided some pretty convincing numbers, because it's things we didn't think about. Like, oh yeah, I guess 10 years ago that happened, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
We've been through a rash currently. I think.
So I hear over this weekend there was constant shootings.
Gunshot shots. At least.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired.
It was a lot of them. A few of them on Friday, a few of them on Saturday, and a few of them last night.
The weather broke.
That needs to change. Man, that's bad.
It's not good that it's
intimidation.
It's not good that it's kind of normal. That you hear it and then you're like, meh. That's not good. That's not a good mentality to have.
And a lot of people live in the city in pretty decent neighborhoods deal with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a gunshot.
Yeah. I lived there at the end of Orange there for a bit, and I mean that was a nice little neighborhood. And
gunshots and coyotes,
coyotes, and the biggest deer I ever saw in my life.
His butt's up against that massive property, on the north side
cemetery and all that crap.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I was back when I used to smoke, and I was upstairs smoking out the window. I'd gotten home 2-3 in the morning after work, and I heard a gunshot in my neighborhood. I went, I think that was a gunshot. That wasn't fireworks. I don't get that in my neighborhood, though.
No, I remember when I first moved to my first apartment on 6th Street. I remember waking up one morning and I heard gunshots. And in my head, duck hunters must be out.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I went,
I don't live there anymore.
I don't live anywhere near where ducks live.
So I do wake up from gunshots in the fall, opening day of duck season, goose season. Matter of fact, if you're new to where I live, you'll come straight up out of bed on that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's usually shotguns, so
yeah,
they ring out pretty loud.
Yeah, they're out there, and I think, well, that's my buddy Dennis out shooting ducks.
Yeah, and the thing is if they're out shooting ducks, it could be pretty much right there.
No, it can't, because you have to be so many feet from a house, so they're usually out there in the channel,
but that's closer than out in the 300 acres in the field.
Yeah, they're shooting
for deer season.
So that's the only gunshots I really deal with.
That's not so bad.
By the way, Leone Township, I'll talk about a little bit here. Yeah. Our planning commission had the task of considering short-term rental process, and it's to keep track of Airbnbs.
Yeah,
and everybody got it confused of general rental, and it wasn't. It was just short term.
Right.
I went to that planning commission meeting, and the person that wrote that, by the way, when I read it, I said, that's the biggest overreach of local government I've ever seen in my life. It was bad.
Pretty close.
But the guy that wrote it, he explained that, he just took other ordinances. Napoleon has one, By the way, that would pertain to the water I live on. Napoleon Township has one. Grass Lake has one. And kind of mushed them together and came up with this crazy thing. So after an hour of discussion, our planning commission says, I don't think we're going to deal with that.
I think that's a good idea. Just, you know what? Let it work itself out. Like you said, there's already
plenty.
Things too loud, the fire's too big, the fire's too late,
you're
this and that.
Parked in the road, You're trespassing on the neighbors.
Plenty of ordinances, for the love of God.
I'll tell you what boiled it down is the planning commission had a concern, but yes, the people renting the property for that day, that weekend, yes, you can deal with them with citations. But how do you, after repeat offenses, how do you go after the owner? Let's say he lives in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, most are local. There is a lady that lives on Deary's Point. She lives on Deary's Point. She's got one on Deary's Point.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the concern. She's going to go down there and take care of that. But you do have some out-of-town ones, and they were like, there's even ordinances to deal with the owners on a nuisance.
Oh,
violation.
Yeah.
And listen, I can go on my phone. I did it when I was sitting there. Google the address on GIS. It brings up the owner. You can go from the owner. You can find out right now.
Yeah.
So if there's multiple offenses because you're over there writing tickets for whatever, fire's too big and all that, ultimately you can deal with this.
Well, it's the same thing with like bars and things like that. I mean,
you know what blocked it down? Is somebody mentioned that we already have a business ordinance that no one follows, but you know why? Like, you got to register any business in the township. We have no staff to even keep up with it. We would have to hire staff to manage this.
Right.
And you know what? That's when they were like, yeah, we're not doing
they're
this.
like, more money? No.
Thankfully, our planning commission looked at it that way. We'll review that at the Jackson Planning Commission. It won't get past there. I guarantee you that. And then ultimately it lands on the township board. But I will say, from discussion with my township board, no one's in favor of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't see.
Let's keep Leone.
Yeah, this is figure it out.
So Kevin, I spent 2 hours with the township ordinance enforcement guy.
Okay.
Retired Blackman police officer Chris Jacobson.
Yep.
He's a badass, cool as shit.
Yeah.
I like the guy a lot, but he is a cop.
Yeah,
he's and
he's kind of the worst kind of cop.
He is a cop, and his mentality is all right, here the violations right here. So we're driving around, and let me tell you, there's some problems with blight in Leone Township that need to be dealt with. But some of them were like on a dirt road I ain't been down like in 15 years. And a little driveway goes back, and the lady's got some of those cargo containers full of crap. That's a violation. And she was trying really hard to clean it all up. We stopped and talked to her for a while. I wished it was more complaint-oriented.
Yeah.
Not him running around, there's a violation.
Yeah.
And
that's what I meant by saying he's the worst kind of cop. It's like,
well, he does his job.
Yeah. But his job sucks.
Now, it's a slippery slope. When you don't start enforcing as with someone out looking for it, and then there is a complaint to this guy, then this guy says, well, over here there's nobody dealing with that. Well, you just snitched on it. It is a slippery slope. It's a hard one to deal with. And tell you the truth, there's an ordinance violation right next door to me.
I'm sure.
John's truck is expired. His plates are expired, and it's a piece of shit. And I really wish it was gone. But you know what? I'm minding my own business.
Yeah.
And Jake picked me up, and he didn't say anything. So he doesn't go after every little thing. But he is out there. I do know that the township just bought some property, and people have been parking their snowmobiles and pontoons and stuff on that property for decades. And there's a potential where he's going to be telling them they can't park it there anymore. And I said, see, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's always a little bit more.
So he says, well, what if they took that boat trailer and parked it down at the township hall? What's the difference? Well, because this is in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know why the township bought that property.
No, it sounded good on paper.
Anyways, I'm going to ride with him again.
Yeah, actually, that'd be a fun ride.
It was kind of cool. Some of this shit needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
By the way, if you've been to Dorel Trailer Park,
no,
in a long time,
no, I've been down that way, but I haven't been to the actual trailer park.
So I probably hadn't been down there in 30-plus years because I don't need to be out there.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Wow. That's not good out there.
Yeah, the closest I've been is I've been down Portage to Jarrell Road.
Yeah, turn off on
then
Portage.
take Napoleon, in Napoleon.
It's sketchy out there.
Oh, yeah. It always kind of has been. I mean,
and I'm sure it's kind of methy.
I bet.
Yeah, that's the reason for it.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
And then, matter of fact, he took me somewhere. A guy had a bunch of violations, and he even said that they were out there chopping wood, and they had wood everywhere. That wasn't the violation. He says these guys have been accused, and they steal wood off state land.
Oh, yeah.
So he had a multiple reason to be mad at them in the copper mode that he does. He spent 30 years as a cop. That's all he knows.
Yeah, he's a cop.
Thankfully, Officer Jacobson has done what he has done for the community because he's also probably one. He's a nice guy. Probably shouldn't piss him off.
Yeah, I don't think
He's a thick.
Yeah, you don't want to tassel with him.
No.
He'll take care of it.
He's also now in his retirement, so he's Leone Ordinance Enforcement Officer, and he's captain at the Napoleon Police Department.
Oh.
And I don't think it's a big secret, but their chief is going to be retiring out there.
Okay.
And their deputy chief, Matt Peters, who I've known for a long, long time, will be the chief. And I think Jake might end up with the deputy assistant chief position.
Yeah.
So good for him. He's perfect for it. Cops are cops, man. That's what they do.
And I mean, I think Napoleon's a great little retirement job.
Yeah, that's a good gig.
Yeah, that's a good gig.
Matter of fact, I only watched a couple minutes ago. Chief Pittman from Napoleon and the fire chief out there were on JTV.
Yeah.
And right out the gate, because I didn't watch the whole clip, 20th most safest community in the state.
I believe it.
You're pretty safe in Napoleon.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of one of those communities too where you just kind of handle it. They don't get a lot of calls about it.
Yeah,
you're like, hey, stop doing that.
And thankfully, that's what keeps my neighborhood close because I live pretty close to Napoleon.
Yeah. You live on Napoleon Road.
I do. And then when you look across the lake, half the lake I live on, half is in Leone and half is in Napoleon.
You can see Napoleon.
My wife always says, like Sarah Palin used to say, I can see Russia from my house.
I can see Napoleon from
Sarah
my house.
goes, I can see Napoleon from my house. Because that is Napoleon.
Yeah, that is Napoleon.
But that goes back to the short-term rental ordinance.
Right.
So part of my lake that I live on has a short-term rental ordinance.
Right.
The Napoleon side has short-term rental ordinances. My side in Leone, I don't think is going to be doing.
I'm trying to think. There's not a lot of residential.
It is kind of undeveloped down there.
Yeah, it's a little Wild Westy out there.
But when you go down the channel to Price Lake, it's built up a lot.
Yeah, and then
Bonnie
Mead?
Bonnie Mead, and from Bonnie Mead all the way to Anthony Drive, there's a lot of homes popped up, but they're not the type of homes that
they're not going to be Airbnbs.
Yeah, people are living there.
Yeah.
But they are, and then I think part of Wolf Lake. I don't know a part of Wolf. I don't think part of Grass Lake butts up against Wolf Lake. I think that's us and Napoleon, but they got one out there. But then again, they do have other lakes, Grass Lake, all that.
Yeah.
I'll bet you the craziness come out of Grass Lake.
Yeah, well, it's because the Ann Arbor migration. You know, they went from Detroit to Ann Arbor, now they're in Grass Lake, and actually they already started bleeding into Jackson.
They are,
which I don't know why you would do that. You skip right over Jackson. Go to Springport.
That migration has gone into Rives because Pleasant Lake is partially in Rives, and they gravitate to those nice lakes and things like that. Grass Lake has been taken over quite a bit. And reading the ordinance that Leone tried to put across was inspection anytime by the supervisor.
That was insane. Just welcome in anytime.
We need a list of all license plates that are going to be at that property, all that insane stuff. I don't know. I haven't looked at Napoleon's short-term.
I would like to see those.
Or Grass Lakes, but the overreach has probably come out of Grass Lake.
Yeah, I would assume so. Probably rightfully so. But Yeah, it's
Thank you, Leone Township Planning Commission, for shelving that. Well,
yes,
it's just a recommending board. It will go in front of the township board, but it sounds like we're not going to.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's all the same team.
Yeah. So, anyways, enough on short-term rental ordinances. I live near a couple.
Yeah,
I really do. And let me tell you, they party their asses off. Yeah. I'm always like, yeah. Woo-hoo. They think they're up north. I'm like, hey, I'm just going home. I'm just going home. That's where I go to bed.
I live right there.
Sorry about your luck.
Don't bug me.
I don't know where you live, but I live here and I have a good time.
Yeah, pick up your trash.
Right. Oh, you know what bothers me the most about the short-term rental people is the shitty boat drivers.
Oh, yeah.
It's not their bonfires. It's not their music. It's not all those people. It's not that you park 50 cars on the street.
They're not lake people.
People who don't live on the lake drive their watercraft like shit.
Well, I think a big thing is
it's dangerous.
When I was in high school, they made us take boater safety courses.
Yeah, I know.
And other schools, districts don't make you do that.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lake in your district, I guess, then why would you? If you're from Detroit,
me and my buddies have almost fought people for shitty driving on that lake. But I don't know how you fight, like when you pull up pontoon to pontoon or speedboat. What are you gonna do? Swing over on a rope? And
you got to get yourself a grappling hook. And
all you can do is
then it's man the cannons.
I'll never forget. There was a guy from Ohio. He had a nice speedboat.
Ohio guy.
The Ohio guy. It was like 3 years of this asshole, and he would fly around and create waves, And my buddy Dennis Kurtz hated this guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we went through this for a year. And then the ultimate was, Dennis had his step ladder. They're $300.
Yeah.
The 5 on hooked to the top of. He had an old school bimini top, the metal one. He had it bungee up there, and this guy pulling his tubers behind there. The kids made all kinds of waves, and we were hanging on, and his $300 ladder fell off the top and into the water. And once they go down, they go down. You're never
getting them back.
There was an incident.
There was an incident.
But you know what? The next season, I didn't see the guy come back.
Yeah.
They finally got rid of that guy.
Just sell your house and just move away.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, actually, over that area, it seems like. There's a line, and then you just go away.
Some reason that guy disappeared. But
Dennis had a really successful hunting season that year.
You replace one asshole with another.
Yeah, it's constant.
We've been dealing with that long before anybody with short-term renting places we've been dealing with, because we have 2 public boat launches.
Yeah, and short-term rentals is short-term. That guy lived there all summer.
I think he owned a home.
Yeah,
a cottage.
I think so.
Yeah, and maybe he sold because property values were going so high. He's like, I'm cashing out.
Right now is the time to cash out on.
Or it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that house sold for what, $750,000.
It's calmed down a bit. Prices are still too high, but there for a while, the people that weren't permanent residences were cashing out.
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So there's that. I heard last night there might have been a homicide in the city of Jackson. I read that before we went on the stream.
Right.
So the cops go there last night for a welfare check, according to the article, and apparently they couldn't get in the house, so they had to get a warrant. And when they entered with a warrant, they find this guy dead, but then other people were at the residence, and things are suspicious.
Yeah, that happens.
Happens?
You can't be around dead people. When the cops show up, you gotta get out.
The party might be over.
Yeah, when someone dies, it's not a real party until the fire department shows up. Except we live in an all-response county now, so that's not as fun. Cops are the firefighters.
I do say we're at 3:20. We've talked just shit for
we've covered nothing important.
Absolutely nothing important.
No, I mean, unless you own a short-term rental or you drive your boat like an asshole.
The Pope died last night.
Did he die?
Oh, you did.
I haven't been.
So the Pope
I know you're sick.
The Pope, they wheeled him out in a wheelchair yesterday during Easter, and he did his in St. Peter's Square. Thousands of people cheering, and actually he seemed okay other than he was in a wheelchair.
He was on oxygen, I think, too.
But then they wheeled him away, and then I wake up this morning. I woke up a little early, 5 o'clock, and the first thing I seen, that's the only thing they're talking about on the news, is the Pope died. So the Pope died. We're not good Catholics, Kevin, but we're both Catholics.
Yeah, so now we got to elect a new one, something to do with smoke rings or something.
And all the cardinals show up at the Vatican.
Then they sit in the special chair to make sure that they...
Peace pipe, something. Yeah. I don't know.
Do they still use the special chair to make sure that they have a penis?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a special chair that doesn't have a seat in it.
Can't be a trans?
Because, there was way back, like 1400s or something, there was a pope that was elected that was actually a woman.
Oh,
and
that's
the Catholics ain't down with that.
Yeah, that's a pickle.
So I don't know if they still use that chair, but it's
so I guess there's 9 days of mourning before they even get together to put the pipe out, smoke out the pipe.
Oh,
yeah. So whatever, the Pope died.
Pope Frank,
new pipe Pope. Now they're talking about this made the greatest Pope ever, but I do
like Pope Frank.
I've seen a few popes die, and they're always, once they die, the greatest Pope ever.
I think only two that I know.
I think I've seen 2 or 3.
Because there'd be this one, and then
the one retired. Remember the one retired? He's like, yeah, I'm done.
I forgot about that one.
Well, you think you retire from this?
I forgot Pope Frank is a kraut.
I think we talked about this on the stream. Father Dunn at Lady of Fatima.
Yeah, he's like,
one day he says, I retired. Now he's married.
Well,
he had a pension and shit. A pension? I thought it was
time to go get some.
I think it was a life of poverty and servitude, but no, that's a gig. It's a job. 25 years and now got a pension. Father Dunn, in our community, Father Dunn. You let him cut in line, and now actually Father Dunn was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Father Dunn.
He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah. But yeah, he was like the king.
I was an altar boy for him, and he never raped me once.
No, I've never heard that.
Nope.
Out of the Father Dunn. But yeah, he's retired now and married.
Yeah, well,
to a chick.
Might as well.
So the Pope died. Sweet gig. The other Pope before him retired. Imagine the Pope pension. That's probably pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you are technically the leader of an entire country. Vatican City is its own country inside of Italy. Jesus Christ.
This I know. Axe My Tax is coming back.
Yes.
It is back.
It is back.
So they're coming to Jackson to train our volunteers how to sign the petitions Wednesday at noon. They ain't messing around. They don't want anybody screwing up the petitions. And so starting Thursday, Jackson GOP will have Axe My Tax petitions available. Also, there will be, it was just approved by the Board of Canvassers, a citizens initiative to require proof of citizenship to register to vote. That was just approved last week, so I expect those petitions to be available real soon. So starting Thursday, you can get, if you want to eliminate property taxes and deal with the buckets. Jackson GOP will have them available starting Thursday.
I should probably relearn the bucket thing.
Yeah. Dave Jones did pretty good.
Yeah.
Dave Jones is not the guy for that no more. I don't think he's anti-ask my tax, but he's not with them anymore. So maybe we need to get one of them guys on here. But then, so the other one, that 2 ballot initiatives should be available at the Jackson GOP office. And don't forget, we are staffed by volunteers Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 until 5, and Saturday, 10 until 1.
Okay.
So you can just come up here and have a free water or pop and check out our beautiful suite and sign the petitions if you want. So there that is. I'm looking down through illegals. Yeah, we don't like illegal aliens.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, they're illegal. They're illegal.
You violated the law the minute you came here illegally.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I was watching the Liptards at the county commission meeting. Wow. Yeah. Some of them cried at the public comment. Cried. One lady says, I fear for my grandchildren's safety with ICE and the police gathering these up.
Well, are they illegal?
I'm like, get out, grip.
I have a very close friend of mine who she's very liberal, always has been. You know her father, actually. But she put this big thing about the Sheriff Schutte and this and that, and I'm just like, I had to explain to her. I'm like, they're not kicking in doors and just rounding them up.
It's a narrative they're trying to.
Yeah, just trying to attack any angle they can.
Yeah. It was at first it was entertaining watching them. By the time the meeting comes down, I was done with that entertainment.
Yeah.
And then so a whole group of them, they're kind of on the younger side, left during the county commissioner's comments because they're mad.
Yeah.
Because we didn't give them anything they
Stopped
wanted.
their feet.
They left, but they came back during that process and stood behind me and Jimmy in locked arms. and I can't see him back there, and I had my Jackson GOP hat on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jimmy, if one of these people spit on me, the sheriff ain't going to be able to hold me back.
There's going to be a whole situation. They're going to find out there are consequences to actions.
FAFO.
Yeah. And not to mention, more than likely,
they didn't.
You probably could have blown on one of them. They would have all fallen down. But
they didn't. They were very peaceful, and the chair of the Jackson Democratic Party was part of them. And I have met him a couple times. Him is not a him. It's whatever. Whatever.
Them. Person.
Pronouns, whatever.
Yeah, we live in Trump's America.
He looks like a him to me, but I guess he isn't. I don't know or care.
If he wants a passport, then he's got to be a him.
When I was leaving, the group of them were standing outside the county tower building's door to where I had to walk through them, and I was prepared to say, "Hey, have a nice night,"
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Russ, how you doing?" I can't never pronounce his name. He changed it, or it's a name I can't pronounce. So I stopped and talked to him. Him and I are going to work on a project together.
Probably good.
We have one that has common interest, and it's significant, but that's to come. And it's going to involve a family member, my aunt, who's a Democrat, and it's about why the Intermediate School District Board is not elected by the people.
I didn't know they weren't.
They are not.
What do you know?
They are elected by the school boards in the county.
Special.
And that's the biggest amount you pay on your property taxes.
Yeah.
So I'm a bridge maker, and we might be like, I'm going to take 3 normal people from the Jackson GOP that aren't wackadoos, and then I expect them to give us 3 just normal Democrats that aren't wackadoos, and maybe we can get in a room and figure out how to do this.
I think there might be 3 of them that exist overall.
I know.
In the population.
And they're probably thinking that about us, too.
Well,
yeah.
They're not wrong, all of them.
Anyways, we'll see how that goes. I will announce that when that happens on the Stick to the Plan podcast. All right. So, we got to wrap up.
Yeah, we're at that time.
JacksonGOP.org. Guess what? You can find a lot of shit on there. We have a online store with cool merch. I'd like you to check it out.
Yeah.
But what we got coming on is a golf outing. June. Oh, where the hell am I?
I don't know.
June 14th. Father's Day weekend. Hankard Hills Golf Course, one of the nicer public golf courses in Jackson County. Actually, it's a beautiful facility. $400 a team. We have sponsorships for holes, sponsorships for the event. You find out more and sign up at jxngop.org. Golf outing. Our first one is called Freedom Flags and Fun or something.
Fathers,
Flags, and Freedom.
Yeah, freedom, something.
Okay.
Careful with that one.
Really
careful with that one.
Really, really cool golf outing. Looking forward to that. And there's even a way for $50.
There it is. Found it.
All right, yeah.
I knew I had it.
Flags, Fathers, and Freedom.
Yep.
How can you go wrong with a title like that?
Gotta be careful.
And we even got Tiger Woods on there or somebody. Okay.
Maybe.
But if you don't golf like me, you can come for $50 and hang out after because we're feeding everybody and hanging out and hopefully smoking some cigars and drinking some bourbon.
That's what I'll be doing.
And it's $25 a person or $40 a couple. So even if you don't golf, and don't forget, folks, it's a fundraiser. And do you know why the Jackson GOP fundraises?
To elect good Republicans.
To elect Republicans.
Yeah.
Period. That's the only reason we exist. Sometimes they're bad Republicans, but we still got to elect them. So the golf outing. But prior to that, May 8th, Under the Oak Speaker Series, this is just announced now. I just figured it out over the weekend. We've got some representatives from Americans for Prosperity, sometimes known as AFP, the Michigan AFP. Sean Bertolone. I don't know. I screwed that last name up. And Tim Golding will be here to talk about how to get involved for the reduction of government, which, by the way, that's the main reason I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
Reduction of government. And they do a lot of efforts in Lansing to promote lowering income tax, things like that. So, and they're buying the food.
Oh, wow.
And guess what the food's going to be? Virginia, Coney Island.
Oh. I live upstairs from them.
That's worth $12 right there.
Yeah, all day.
All day.
All day.
May 8th, 6 o'clock in the beautiful Jackson GOP suite, jacksongop.org. What else is on there? I don't know. That's it. Okay.
All right. Well, guys, make sure you follow this channel and like this video. Share it out to all your friends. We are on YouTube and Rumble today.
By the way, I wanted to add.
Yes.
We should have done this at the beginning of the show.
Usually.
I think I tried to explain this before. Stick to the Plan podcast is not an official podcast of the Jackson GOP.
No.
Of course, being the chairman, I promote a lot that's going on at Jackson GOP. Stay tuned for a separate podcast that might be a shorter version of the Jackson GOP. I don't know what the name of it will be yet. Probably hosted by Chris Baird and Dave Jones. And at least every couple of weeks, update of the Jackson GOP.
Yeah, it sounds like they're looking at about a 15-minute update. Chris
good
Tucker. Compacted show.
Yeah, short and sweet.
And it won't be live. It will be pre-recorded.
They were telling me they're going to record it. They can add a little bit. So, stick to the Plan podcast. I can give you updates, but we're all over the map. It's just Kevin and whoever's here talking crazy. This podcast is not an arm of the Jackson GOP. No. We do talk about it a lot. But if you are a political organization or a candidate, you can come to the Jackson GOP, give me a call anytime, and guess what? We'll provide content just like this for you.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Kevin runs a business called Grandma's Boys Productions, and that is separate. And if you just want to do a podcast for whatever reason, I think you might be the only podcast studio in Jackson.
I double-checked, both with AI and through Google search, the only professional podcast in Jackson. I mean, I'm sure that there's somebody in a basement or in a room somewhere, but not like we have here.
So I think I said before, JTV has a podcast studio.
But they don't rent it.
They only do their own shows.
Yeah.
So Grandma's Boy Production.
In most studios, like you have to go closer to Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and they're
sky high.
Huge, your price is huge, and they just plop you in a room and say good luck.
Oh.
My prices are much, much lower, and I don't want a ton of people touching my stuff, but B, I want to make sure everything that comes out of here is quality.
Okay.
So you get a producer included in the cost that is already significantly
and that's
lower.
Where Hits Home Jackson.
Hits Home Jackson. Yep, that was my first client, John Wilson,
and he'll be here Thursday at 1.
Thursday at 1, every other Thursday.
And that is Jackson County political news.
County and city.
Yeah.
County and city.
Yeah. I like that show.
No, I think it's going to be a fun show, and he's very in tune with those.
He does.
He knows.
He can be controversial, but he is up on what's going on.
Oh yeah, he knows the answer.
He does, and actually, as controversial as he's still respected by most of the political officials in Jackson.
Well, that's because
he ain't coming at you with too much bullshit.
He usually has his facts straight.
Yeah,
you can't argue facts.
So Hits Home Jackson live.
Yep, Thursday.
Every Thursday at 1.
Every other Thursday.
On every other on the Rumble.
Rumble and YouTube.
Oh, on both, and then
he
don't share it as much as like we do this one. Maybe
I asked him about some clips. We didn't dig on any clips this last one, but I'm sure that this next time, because the last one is more an introduction anyway.
So if you want to do a podcast of how to juggle bowling balls or something like that, and you can call Kevin and he'll put you on, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't care what it's about.
You don't care what it's about.
No, It's your money.
If you want to do a conservative political podcast, get a hold of the Jackson GOP, and we'll provide that for you. So you're excluded from some business, Kevin.
Yeah, and that's fine because, well, the agreement that has been made.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Let's shut her down.
Yeah, that's it.
Should we show these things?
Yeah, if you want to.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had a fan from the Grandma's Boy podcast send me these. That one was the Stick to the Plan. This is for Grandma's Boy podcast. And then they actually made a Hits Home Jackson one, which that's the newest show. So I appreciate that.
I guess you should probably give that to John Wilson.
Yeah, I'll probably hang them.
I like that one the best. I like it. It just looks nice.
Yeah, no, that turned out really nice.
They all look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably put them up on that wall.
Yeah, on the wall.
I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but we'll figure it out. And I'm sure I'll do the official shout out on my show because she's not here right now. So,
okay.
Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and check us out next Monday, 2:00. We'll be on time because, well, we don't have to fight the equipment. So, JacksonGOP.org. See you later, and bye-bye.